This report is intended to shock and confront you. Australia's thriving economy and low unemployment rates make it one of the richest countries of the world, and yet just over 2 million of its citizens are still living just below the poverty line. What effect is this having on Aussie kids? And what role is Australia's education system playing? To illustrate the effects a low socio-economic status has on a child's development, Bronfenbrenner's model will be used to provide the framework. Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory emphasises environmental factors as playing the major role to a child's development. In this theory, there are 5 systems: the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and lastly, the chronosystem. The microsystem is the environmental system in which the individual has most interaction. These contexts include the person's family, their peers, their school, and neighbourhood. The mesosystem refers to the relationships between the microsystems, or the connections between the contexts. For example, the connection between family experiences and school experiences. The exosystem is concerned with the connection between a social setting in which the individual does not have an active role. For example, a father may receive a promotion at work which requires longer hours at the office, thus affecting patterns of interaction with the child. The macrosystem describes the culture in which the individuals live. Culture meaning the way of people. Cultural context would include socio-economic status, poverty, and ethnicity. Lastly, the chronosystem refers to the patterning of environmental events and transitions over the life of an individual, as well as socio-historical circumstances. For example, a socio-historical circumstance would be the increasing opportunities for women to pursue a career. And to provide the context for our understanding is Jenny. Jenny's story is just one of many about children growing up with a low socio-economic status. This is Jenny, and this is her story. Jenny is 5 years old. She lives with her parents in a state house. Her extended family lives over 2.5 hours away, so she barely knows them due to financial restrictions. Her parents allow a 16-year-old girl to live with them in return for looking after Jenny. Jenny is also forming bonds with her teacher and educational assistant. These are the prominent figures of Jenny's microsystem. Jenny's teacher approached the principal to arrange a home visit to see if there were some strategies that could be implemented to help Jenny cope at school and increase her attendance. Reluctantly, Jenny's parents agreed, which fortunately provided a greater insight as to why Jenny was struggling at school. It was evident that Jenny's parents really just wanted the best for Jenny, and this year things had become tougher than usual, as Jenny's dad was no longer working due to Mum needing the extra support. Jenny's dad had only made enough money to keep the family in a house and provide the essentials. However, since being put off from work, the bills were piling up. This is why her teacher discreetly provided her with some essential items. It was fortunate for Jenny that her school considered the needs of all individuals and were proactive where students at risk of disadvantage were concerned. Jenny's teacher would regularly meet with the principal and the school psychologist to monitor whether an intervention was required. At this point, building positive classroom relationships was the main focus. This is what forms the context of Bronfenbrenner's model of the mesosystem. It is here that Jenny will adopt attitudes that will help her to adjust at school life and at home. In Year 3, Jenny had a new teacher who noticed that Jenny was continuously late, usually forgot her lunch, or only had one thing to eat for the entire day, and was unusually withdrawn. It is not uncommon for children in low socioeconomic situations to become withdrawn at school. Jenny's teacher tried to contact her parents, but was unsuccessful, as the number she had called was disconnected. Carefully, Jenny's teacher and the principal explained to Jenny's parents some of the options they had available to them. Jenny's parents were introduced to the services that the Department of Child Protection offered. They were also introduced to Centrelink services. The parents were able to slowly get on top of their bills. The parents were now able to work towards a future that would help Jenny meet her educational potential and break the cycle of severe hardship. Jenny is fortunate that her school places their students at the centre of learning. This story began with Jenny struggling on her first day of school. to Jenny becoming a successful woman. As Jenny entered adulthood, her social network grew. She even left the shadows of having a low socio-economic status to acquire the title of a middle-class working woman. Jenny had received the support from her teachers, which enabled her to gain an education and thus enabling Jenny to secure a career. The socio-historical circumstances in which teachers are more concerned with their students finishing school, and the greater social acceptance for women in the workplace. In regards to Jenny's chronosystem, her transition from poverty-stricken child to an independent, driven woman is a result of the transitions which took place throughout her life. With the assistance from her teachers, Jenny's story is an inspiring story of how supportive parents and teachers can break the cycle of poverty.